So the first question is, would you please introduce yourself? Tell us your name, what grades you attended Ross, what grade you're in now, and what school you go to. And then also some extracurricular activities that you're involved in.
Hi everyone, my name is Will Caro. I'm a senior right now at Colorado Rocky Mountain School. I started Ross here when I was in about 5th grade and continued all the way to 8th grade. And some extracurriculars that I'm in. I love Spanish right now, so I teach Spanish or English through English in Action at the library. I'm also a very devoted mountain biker and skier.
Hi, I'm Emily Michelle. I attended Ross K through 8. I currently go to Basalt High School. I'm a freshman and I play lacrosse.
Hi, I'm Keitra Moody. I attended Ross Montessori kindergarten through 8th grade. I am in my freshman year of high school. I go over to Roaring Fork. And some of my favorite things to do are soccer, read, and hang out with friends. Obviously, that's a classic.
You can hand it to that.
Thank you guys all for coming. Appreciate it. Good to see you. So we want to know, what is something that you learned about yourself here at Ross?
So I definitely think I learned leadership skills, and to be very caring no matter what people think of you. Just be nice to people. You never know what they're going through, but definitely leadership skills. I've learned that I tend to take control of a situation without really knowing it. And so I think I've learned how to manage leadership skills and not get like too personal and in people's spaces, but still know what to do in tough times.
I agree. I think I also learned leadership skills. Another big thing that I learned while I was being here is to really appreciate my time with my friends and just enjoy and live in the moment and just know how lucky you are. So I think I appreciate that from Ross.
Yeah, I think one of the main things I learned here was just how curious I am, and I think the whole curriculum here really helped me through that, just allowing me to learn what I want, which I thought was really interesting.
Okay. Can you think about an academic subject or concept or skill that you learned about here, and then that you have learned more about in high school, and how the connection was made for you?
Math here definitely helps me. So the self-paced math allowed me to really spring forward in high school once I was given the structured classes and all the homework. I was able to do that, and then also Ross really taught me how to know if I've understood something, and constantly checking in on myself to see if I know if I really understand it. So that's really helped me through my math in high school, just making sure I really understand everything when it gets a little faster paced. It was a little faster for me going into high school.
I think one thing that I got really good at while I was at Ross was writing essays and taking notes. While I was here, especially in middle school, I had a really good English teacher. Well, not necessarily English teacher, but I got really good at writing thesis statements and understanding the structure of an essay, and that's been very helpful for when I have papers due. So yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely think that thesis statements have been super helpful, because some of you guys might know Ms. Melissa, and she taught us how to structure a thesis statement, how it should be worded, how the topic should be, and I think that was super helpful with the essays that we had to write, especially if people didn't know what thesis statements were.
Describe a time when you have successfully collaborated with others outside of your specific age group. So this might allude to some of that leadership or something else.
So in one of my classes, I was paired with a senior, a sophomore, and a freshman, and I tended to take the workload and just say like we all did it together. But it was our final, and I realized that I can't just work on this alone, and so I told everyone that they needed to pitch in, and we all came up with a plan, and we stick with that plan, and we all actually worked as a group, and it actually turned out really good, and we got a really good grade.
Well, just like 3 days ago, I had a project due for my AP Human Geography class where I had to collaborate with a bunch of my peers, and some of them were like older, like juniors and stuff. So we were able to do that, and we had to remap Africa, and we were all able to like work together and like give each other like chances to like do things and learn things. So I think that's good.
The collaboration skills that I learned here at Ross really carried over, especially now that I'm upperclassman. I work a lot with administrators at our school to try and get simple things done, like get more vacuums for like our classroom cleaning time, or change some of the driving policies so we can go home for lunch. But those skills that Ross taught me of like group communication have really helped me just later on with adults.
Can you think about a time when you had a challenge at school, whether it was a social challenge or academic challenge or something with a teacher that you didn't get along with, and what's a successful way that you solved that problem?
I've had a couple academic challenges just by taking a rigorous class schedule, and particularly in like U.S. history. I had a pretty rigorous U.S. history and calculus class, and I feel like Ross really taught me the time management skills and kind of some of the like self-motivation just to complete all that work with care and persevere through those classes.
A challenge that I've had this year was like I was very stressed when finals came around, and when that happens, it's like all your classes and you just have to like know everything. But I was very like stressed with studying, but thanks to like Ross, I feel like I was able to like discipline myself to study and take good notes, and that's because of like my time management skills and stuff. So I'm glad I was able to like overcome that.
I definitely think finals was probably a really stressful moment, so I learned that note-taking was super important, as well as communicating with your teachers. Like one time I didn't understand something, and then she didn't help me, and I got marked down on it, and so I went and talked to her about it, and I was like, hey, like listen, like I need help, like I'm not understanding what you're telling me. And I feel like communication that Ross teaches you with teachers is super important, because the more you know your teachers, the more they respect you, and I think that's really important for like them understanding who you are as a person.
Thanks again. So this one's kind of a fun one. What are some of your favorite memories of learning at Ross, either within the classroom or special events? And that could be all the way from kinder, lower, upper, middle. So what's something that you guys remember?
When I was in 5th grade, we had this debate about whether wolves should be let back into Colorado or not. And I think it was super fun because you were split up, like you got to choose if you were against it, if you're for it, or if you were just like neither, and you just wanted to hear both sides of the story. And it was really interesting because Mr. Will taught us how to do a debate, and he showed us the ways to do it and how to structure it properly. And he said, so this is a free conversation, so you guys talk among yourselves. And it went on for quite a while, and we actually had to stop it because we were so invested in what we were learning and we wanted to hear everyone's sides. And I thought that was super interesting and really cool to hear everyone's opinions, which I think is really good for further on, especially when like you group collaborate. I guess you need to like really listen to people.
I'm trying to think. I think when we would do seminar, that was very helpful, and now like for English, it's really helped me to further understand books and take good notes and like be able to like have an argument and understand what you're reading, I guess. So that's been very helpful all those times we did seminar, and that debate, that was very fun. But
We're talking about like favorite memories?
Yeah.
Mine was definitely the trip we took to the sand dunes. That was really fun. I feel like it was just like a time to get to know everybody in our grade and like kind of a nice wrap up. I also really loved working at the coffee bar. It was a little bit, felt like I was procrastinating, but it was definitely really fun. Yeah.
Did you get sunburnt on that sand dunes trip? Because I know some people did.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. So, learning more about like what not to do, know how to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Are you friends with any students people that you met at Ross, and like how have you kept those friendships up? Are they important to you? Talk about that.
I think definitely when I got to high school, I relied on my friends from Ross. I think I definitely have amazing friends from Ross. I still keep in touch with most people at my school and even some at other schools. We'll go skiing sometimes, but just, what was the question again?
Are you still keeping up with them?
Yeah, so I'd say I'm still keeping
Why do you
keeping
keep
with
friends?
them. What was that?
Why do you still think you're friends?
I think I'm just still friends because we had this shared experience of going to school here, which is a pretty unique experience that we can always talk about. So it's always just like a solid conversation topic to be like, remember when we did this at Ross? It was so fun, and yeah, it's been pretty fun.
Well, I definitely keep up with my friends from Ross. I just went skiing with Pedro last weekend, so that, yeah. I see them quite often, actually. I make it a priority to like keep my relationships I made here, because they were like so strong, and I really appreciate my friends from here, and I always want to like make sure to like make time for my old friends and stuff, and just like keep our like special connection, because like I had such a great time with them here, and that's important to me.
Yeah, I definitely think that the connections I made here are really important, and I always make sure like I keep a time where like someone asks me and I'll be like, yeah, you're my old friend, I want to catch up with you, like let's do it. And I feel like sometimes my mom says like, have you talked to Emily in a while? Have you talked to Jen in a while? I'm like, no, and I'm like, you should send her a text. And so I do, and we end up talking for a really long time, and I feel like those connections still stay strong overall because you keep up the connection with people and you make an effort to stay friends with someone.
That was very sweet. I'm getting mushy over here. I'm kind of a sap if you don't know that about me. So, down the road, if you have your own children, would you consider sending them to a Montessori school?
Yes, I definitely think I would definitely send them here. I think that I want them to learn the leadership skills and the time management and the connections, like how to connect with people. I feel like those are all really important aspects that someone should know how to do properly, and I definitely think that's what Ross will teach them.
I totally agree with that, because I think it was very beneficial for me with my time here, and I think that would be beneficial for them too, because in like Montessori schools, they're like typically smaller, and I think it's really important to like make good relationships with your teachers, your students, and like this hands-on way of learning. I think that was very beneficial, and I think that would be good for future generations too.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I would send my kids here. I think definitely, for me at least, I felt like I learned more of those like soft personal skills here, and you know those skills of like communication and time management. And I don't really know how I would, if I went to like a Montessori high school, how that would change, but definitely for the time I was here, it was really beneficial for me.
Can you think of a Montessori material that you still remember using that maybe some upper L students are using, and like, what do you remember about it?
I remember the pegboard teaching me kind of how to use square roots, and I thought that was really fun. And it was like a neat way to visualize the mathematics.
I forgot what it's called, but I remember it was like, it taught me division, and it was like the test tubes. I loved that, and that was very beneficial for me because that was a difficult skill to learn. I think that really helped me visualize it, and yeah, shout out to the test tubes.
I definitely think I remember in kindergarten, I don't know if you guys still have these with golden beads. I remember I loved them. I loved taking them off the shelf. I loved spreading them out. And I think it just really helped me, especially later on with my multiplication and my adding, and knowing that 7 plus 7 and 7 times 2 are the exact same thing. They lead to the same answer. And I think it was one of my most favorite interactive things.
Actually, I have a few more to add.
Oh.
So, you know the parts of speech symbols?
Yeah.
Now, I just like can't think about those parts of speech without those little symbols.
You
Which,
think of a noun?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Big black triangle, right?
Oh, yeah, compound, synonym, all
Right.
of those. I'm just like, and like, yeah.
Yeah, you got
Adverb,
it.
verb.
I feel like learning that really set me up well to like kind of nail learning all of Spanish through high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys could all see, but I found it ironic and funny that as Emily is talking about the test tubes, those of you in the front row probably noticed there was a green bead and a red bead both rolling around up here. So still got test tubes going.
That's right.
We were also wondering if you, I know we have a freshman and a senior, so a little bit different end of the spectrum in high school, but if you have any general plans for the future going forward. Yeah, thoughts on that yet? Or not?
I'd really like to go to college. I don't know if I'll actually do it, but I would like to. I think it's good for me to set up what I want to do. And like in college, in high school, I'm taking classes for business because I want to go into business. And I feel like it'd be good for me to get a degree, hopefully. That'll happen, hopefully. I really also, this is kind of new, but I want to open a bakery. I love cooking, I love baking, I love business management. Yeah, I love managing things.
I have like the same answer, oh my gosh. I think I would like to go to college for sure, because I feel like it would be a great experience and it would be useful to have a degree, and I'd like to learn more about business and like entrepreneurship, and I think that would be a very fun thing to do. Copy me. I also want to open a cafe, but
Go business together.
yeah, that'd be fun. Anyway.
You have to be okay with kids being the boss.
Right now, I'm planning on going to CU Boulder, majoring in civil engineering, and that's about it. That's my college plan. But I also have other plans, like right now I'm a chef at Alegria, so I've had that for a little while, but I'll probably continue that into the summer and continue more English in action work, just teaching English to people that need it. So those are some of my current plans just for the next 6 months about this. It'll be pretty soon when I head off to college.
Yeah. So Will said he's gonna major in civil engineering. What's that mean?
So that's like learning some of the mathematics, some of the science, and some of the design work behind building everyday things like roads, buildings, and I'm kind of interested in some of the geologic aspects of that. So that's like groundwater, like subterranean pipes and foundations. So hopefully I'll learn more physics, math, but I'll definitely keep planning on doing some more Spanish in college, maybe a couple of history classes, but definitely more math and science focused.
All right, those are the questions that we kind of had prepared ahead of time. So families, adults, what questions do you have for our alumni? Yeah.
Could you guys share a little bit about your transition from Ross to, well, I don't know how your school is, but public school is a little different.
Yeah.
Could you share your transition?
Yeah. So the question is, how was the transition from Ross to your current school?
For me, I mean, my grades were pretty fine most of the time, like all freshman year. The biggest adjustment was just like having the discipline to do all the homework, because I feel like here it was maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes of homework a night, which was really nice. I was able to explore other things. But then when I got to high school, it was like 2-3 hours a night sometimes. So that was a little difficult, just having to deal with that.
Brace yourselves.
At first my transition, it was different because I was originally supposed to go to Roaring Fork High School, but that didn't work out, and now I'm at Basalt. But honestly, after like a week or two, it was pretty great. I have some really great friends in there. I really like it. I like my teachers. For the homework, it's definitely different. You just have to be disciplined and stay consistent. Try not to fall behind. And if you do that, it's like generally pretty easy for public school if you're just like disciplined. And we have tutorials, so that helps with homework. And you can honestly get most of it done nightly in that class if you focus.
I think it was a little harder for me getting used to having classes every single hour and a half. It's like the bell rings, time to go. Bell rings, time to go. Like you don't have the free time to go and take a little nice walk or like, oh, I'm just gonna go clear my head for a brain break. You don't have that time. You don't have that time. There's homework and there's always gonna be homework. There's always gonna be homework. I definitely think homework is a big part of it because you're used to like having homework once a week and spelling. I know spelling's definitely a big thing, but in high school, you need to get used to prioritizing the classes you have the next day first, instead of thinking, oh, I have this big essay due Thursday, but tomorrow's Wednesday, and you have another class tomorrow with homework tomorrow. So you need to do the homework that's due tomorrow first and focus on the other stuff later. And I think that's a lot of discipline. You need to not like have things distracting you. I feel like that's a really important part. Like remove all distractions from the room and set aside like 2 hours of homework, and I'm sure you will get it done, and then you have free time.
Just prioritizing this work. Parents, you guys have any other questions?
Oh, Miss Anya has one.
Did you already talk about your grade point average?
Oh.
Parents always want to know that.
How are your grades?
Good? Good? Overall, like this year?
They always- What's the number? They always want to know the number.
I think it's like a,
I could go first.
yeah.
Well, I'll just put it out there, that just like 3.7, pretty solid. Not the best, pretty good. But I do know some other, I know one of the guys I went to middle school with here, I think Sam Rosenberg might be the Sierra Mesa Valley Victorian.
Oh.
So that's not, I feel like it really just depends on what you're motivated to do.
Yeah.
He declined attending today because he didn't want to miss his class.
I have a 3.8. Could be better, but yeah.
They're so humble.
I think I'm a 3.9. I don't really know. I'm somewhere around there. It's weighted, so. Oh.
I will point out, freshman year I had a 4.0, so.
It's transition.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question. I'm glad to hear you still want to open a coffee shop. I told you, when you open it, I'm gonna be first in line.
Yep, still set on that.
Yeah, since like 4th or 5th grade. I have a question about, like, comparing your experience, Will, especially since you've done it for 4 years, and then girls for the past year. Do you notice a difference between you and some of your peers as they are handling, like you guys said, the priorities, the homework, the other stressors, or talking to teachers, right? Advocating for yourself. Will, you said you wanted to get lunchtime off campus, right?
Right.
So like going to an adult and asking for that type of change, like that confidence, do you think others in your school have that same type of confidence?
I feel like definitely a couple do, and like most of them do, but I know at least Lucas is the class president, so he's really like executively oriented, and he can like talk to adults really well, and he's a good example of that. But I feel like no Ross students come to mind that are really like slackers at that school, or like anyone that's like getting into too much trouble, you know?
I definitely know some people who did go to Ross who slack, they skip their classes, don't skip their classes, and they don't do their homework, they don't discipline themselves to focus on what they need to, and I notice that they fall behind a lot, but yeah, like I said, I've never seen a Ross student fall behind, and I think that's really important, especially when, if they do fall behind, they go and communicate with their teachers. And I think that's really, really important, because a lot of kids who aren't from Ross don't know how to properly speak to a teacher with the appropriate kind of tone and knowing how to approach them properly. And I think that's super important, especially if you fall behind or you have trouble or you need a teacher for something.
What was the question? Sorry. Oh, Mr. Will compared to our like peers. Oh, I think in the beginning of your like first fall semester, it's like you have to get used to it and realize like how much like each little assignment matters in studying. So like that semester for me was definitely also about learning like how to like study and prepare and take notes and like not have any missing assignments. And then compared to like my upperclassmen, I feel like they're pretty good at that, and they like know how to like speak to a teacher very well and not like keep their assignments like good. But of course there's always like the people that skip class, which don't do that.
Yeah, I can also add just, last week I went on like a school trip to Mexico, and my teacher gave me just a lot of freedom, which is, I thought a little crazy just because like I'm an 18-year-old loose in Mexico, but I was really granted a lot of freedom, and I think that's just because my teacher saw how responsible I am and how responsible a couple of my peers are.
Yeah, Regine.
When I was new here, so obviously many of you have been in this school longer than me. When I got here, one of the first questions I asked Michael, Sonia, and Mandy was, how do they transition to outside of Ross? And it's great to hear from alumni how you guys are doing. I guess one question I have is, I'm thinking about my 8th graders who are about to leave. What would be your advice for them to make the most out of Ross?
really know. I would say definitely get in the habit of doing something, whether that be like math, or just like some of those skills that just like sets you up for success later, and just really making sure you know like all of those basic skills.
I'd say to make the most out of the rest of your time at Ross, really focus on just like, well, I'd like focus on your skills and just like really trying to understand them. Don't put too much pressure on yourself though now, because when I look back on my time on Ross, it was like such a happy time, and you should just enjoy it and like have fun with your friends, be like talk to your teachers, do your work, but like just be happy.
I know most of the 8th graders, and I recommend that all you guys just relax, take a breather. This summer, I would definitely think about maybe jobs you want to do, clubs you'd want to apply for. They look really good on your resume. Set yourself up for success for high school, because high school is a chance to build your resume out for college, and it's great to have it already started. I definitely think that you should also keep making connections, be nice to new people, like maybe you'll make a new friend. Like, it's not something that's uncommon.
Some wise freshmen over there.
You know, I used to go here too, so I was just wondering, like, now that you guys have foresight on Ross as a whole, like, what do you guys miss the most about Alumni?
I definitely miss recess. We have lunch break. It's just lunch break. And usually you eat lunch and study. And so I definitely miss recess and lunch being separate, because it gave me more time to connect with others. And I remember last year, recess was my favorite time of day, definitely.
I wasn't the biggest fan of recess, mostly because I didn't like the cold, but I definitely miss being able to have more free time and talk to my friends and just do fun, silly things and just play sports outside when it was warm and just having fun.
Yeah, I definitely really miss the freedom I had in the classroom, just like being able to do what I wanted to learn at my own pace, and that's something I feel like I don't really get in high school, just because we have like an hour for every class, and I feel like some classes mean more to me, like the math and science classes where I spend more time on. I just wish I had more time on those rather than like, I don't know, another class.
All right. Anything else from the adults? Okay, let's take a couple of questions from students. Yeah, Thea.
How was it like when you came to Ross? How did you guys feel in the process? Yeah, like when they first got to Ross, how did you guys feel about it?
Well, you might remember that.
You were both in kindergarten, you might not remember.
We were at another school.
Yeah, we were at the other building.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah. But Will, do you have any memories of when you first came to Ross?
Yeah, I just remember just like coming here, learning. For me, it was honestly not that big of a shift. I came from Basalt Middle School, just coming in, and I felt like it was pretty similar, honestly, like the social scene. Although I will have it, like, all of you guys are really quiet, which I was really surprised. Like, even in my all school auditorium, it's like super loud all the time. So I am really impressed with that. But I think it was generally positive. And there were a couple bumps in the road, but
Will, do you want to tell them about the famous bus ride and how great it ended? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
famous bus ride.
When Lee was driving the bus and you weren't feeling well? You want to tell them?
Oh, okay. I don't know what relevance this has to anything, but
It's just a good story.
Okay,
It's just a
okay.
good story.
So this one time on the bus, I was like, that morning I woke up and I was like, I'm a little sick, but I could probably go to school, right? So then I got on the bus and like rode the bus for a little while, and I was in the back, I remember. And then we were going around some windy neighborhoods, and I was like, oh, I gotta throw up. And then I was like, I can't throw up on the seats and everything, just because, then someone would have to clean that up. So I just like vomited into my backpack and called it a day.
Mr. Lee was very impressed by how polite you were. He goes, I'm buying that kid a new backpack.
I was on that bus actually. I
Thoughtful,
remember
huh?
that.
Really?
Yeah.
Very thoughtful.
Oh, a little bit of a legacy here, I guess.
Yeah.
Why didn't you vomit out the window?
I remember it was like middle of winter. It was really cold,
No windows open.
Didn't want the vomit to freeze on the side of the bus. That'd be even more of a nightmare.
How old are you?
I just turned 18 about 2 weeks ago.
I'm 15.
I am 14.
Yeah, Ben.
What are your favorite teachers?
Okay, so most 8th graders will remember this, but I know she's not here anymore, but Miss Melissa.
Let's go.
She taught me a lot of valuable lessons. That's so hard. Mr. Will, they all have their individual reasons. Mr. Will taught me how to make connections. He just believed in me every single time. I had a very rough time in 4th grade, and he was like, just like a best friend. And then Miss Mirka, she taught me math, so many different ways of math. And I think that was so special, and she was just so sweet, and I really acknowledge that. And I really acknowledge all those teachers because they really appreciated me for who I was, and I think that was super special.
Well, we were in a lot of the same classes, so I'm gonna have the same teachers. Mr. Will, I really appreciate him. I had such a better time in upper elementary because of him. It made it so much more fun. I loved that. I love Miss Melissa. She's not here anymore, but she was so sweet. I loved talking to her. Mr. Siefer was fun for the 1 year that I had him. Honestly, everyone here, I can't name everyone, but like everyone here, there's like something like special about them that I appreciate. So.
Yeah, I'll start out by saying I never had any bad teachers, like I have a couple in high school, but I feel like the most memorable was maybe Siefer, because it sometimes felt like we were his little test subjects and like changing the way education works. And it was kind of neat because we were also able to like advise him how we wanted to learn. I thought that was just really neat and interesting, and also a little different.
All right, I see there's lots more questions, but it's time to wrap up. Sorry. But let's give a big thank you to our alumni for coming.